I hope I'm not boring you guys, but I want to do this in real time. I like to make my videos right then when it's hot on my mind because I move very fast. And I'm also looking at Jaden Spicer. There's a lot more to come, in my opinion. There is the mother's message is so full of red flags. I forget how I started learning. And you guys probably forget how you started learning about statement analysis. So things become extremely obvious to us. Plaids, PLAIDS, is our go to. That is our approach. Once you got it down and you feel you have your own personal flow, which is something I always want to stress. I don't want people to do it the way I do it. I want you to develop your very own style because there are chances that I'm able to do things, no matter how much training you have, that you may not be able to do, and you may be able to recognize things that I miss, right? So, this is a team thing. And in a recent video, I spent a lot of time reading your comments because I realized the comments are getting better and better. And the idiots no longer feel it also keeps the idiots from talking when they see their intelligent comments. They're like, oh crap, this channel sucks. So it makes everything easier. So the one thing that I'm happiest about is that I've set a certain pace here because I am passionate about this, and I think it's drawing in the right people, right? So I don't make stuff up to get millions of views. Of course I need more views, and that's why sometimes I tell you guys, please, the most important thing, share it on social media, share it wherever you're present. That helps, and that also helps you reach the right people and connect with the right people. And yes, I know in some Facebook groups there will be Daniel's friends who talk crap about me and may not be nice to you for sharing my videos. They want me silenced. They want to discourage from people mentioning my name. They also don't want to acknowledge me more than they have to because they don't want to give anybody any ideas to actually listen to me analyzing what Daniel has been saying. And I hope it's going to go down because, Daniel, you are your own worst enemy. It's your words. Every statement, Daniel, that I go to, I emotionally distance myself and I assume you're going to tell me the truth. But I allow you to talk me out of it, which you successfully have from the very beginning. Daniel, it is you, your own worst enemy, and the biggest friend of statement analysis, volunteering so much information. And same with your cousin Logan and your mummy who raked in the middle of the night while the whole yard looks like shit. But that night she had this energy spur where she said, ooh, I need to make things pretty now. Do you even understand? You guys in this family are all the same. All three of you, Logan, Daniel, Janie, have given me so much information, thinking they're doing good. Wow. My goodness. For the next 5 days, search and rescue teams poured over the area. On the sixth day of the children's disappearance, police announced they were scaling back. It was unlikely, they said, that the children were still alive. Well, I believe they knew that at night when they went to Earl Martell and also Belinda's home, because They knew these kids couldn't have walked off. So the possibilities were, yeah, somebody picked them up, but I believe they already knew Daniel was lying his ass off. And which I have mentioned in my last video. So they knew whom to look at. In the following week, searchers returned twice more. They may have, thought that the bodies have been buried somewhere in the woods. I don't know. They zeroed in around the home and the natural gas pipeline, a clear-cut trail of land that runs through the countryside where a possible child-sized footprint was found. Lily's blanket was also nearby. Police divers scoured lakes. They drained the septic tank of the. Yeah, I'm a skeptic. That's that's a slip right here. They drained because I'm very skeptical. I read, sometimes you read what you see in your mind. They drained the septic tank of the mobile home and inspected 4 abandoned mine shafts in Lansdowne, a search that's eerily familiar for locals. In 2002, amateur mineral explorers discovered the remains of a man who had disappeared 19 years earlier in one of these old copper mines. 39-year-old Alex Penny's car was found abandoned on a dirt road in Lansdowne months after his mysterious disappearance. It's a chilling homicide that has never been solved, one that rattles around in the collective memories of the people who live here. Police have said they plan to search more of these old mine shafts for the children. A provincial database shows 5 within several kilometers of the mobile home. Dozens more pepper the backwoods and rural highways of Pictou County. Police have described the case as highly unusual. Most missing persons cases are resolved shortly after they're reported to police, but the disappearance of Jack and Lily has become a complex and intensive major crime Is it now a criminal investigation or not officially? I mean, I don't know and I don't care either, right? I've told you before, the deceptive language of police has told me from the very beginning they know a lot more. They suspect a lot more than they're able and willing to say. So it doesn't matter to me. I pay attention to the statements more of the people who know what happened than what the police officially say. Police have described the case as highly involving a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate investigative work. Well, yeah, said RCMP. I hope you watch my channel, guys. Said RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon in an update last month. Nova Scotia government offered up to $150,000 reward for information, but they didn't tell us what to look for, right? What kind of car or so. So far, the Mounties say they've drawn on units from other provinces, interrogated dozens of people, saw 10 judicial authorizations to seize records or search warrants, administered polygraph tests, took possession of electronic devices, viewed thousands of video files, and are awaiting forensic tests on items found during the search, including Lily's pink blanket. Daniel initially told police and the Globe on May 5 that the pink blanket found in the woods did not belong to Lily. You lying bastard. But he later changed his story. That's exactly it. It was a story. In a subsequent interview, he suggested the blanket was planted, taken from his week-old garbage. He also claimed 2 of his sweaters mysteriously disappeared from his home after the kids went missing. He declined to elaborate further. Of course. Avoidance. Let's read this again. That's avoidance here with the blanket. No, it's not hers. Just let it go. But he later changed his, in a subsequent, he suggested the blanket was planted. Okay. Taken from his week-old garbage. Okay. That's why he wanted. Now we understand why he felt the need to call police about the blanket. Somebody must have taken it out and planted it there. Why would somebody do that, Daniel? These people were busy looking for, I know Malaya didn't do it, these people were busy searching. Well, somebody went in your garbage, tore the blanket in half, and then planted it right there. He also claimed 2 of his sweaters mysteriously disappeared from his home after the kids went missing. Yeah, that blanket, the sweaters, that was used in some way to remove the bodies, to cover them up with big shirts. Maybe I don't know, but there is a reason for these shirts missing, and he is the one who took them. And he later stated Malaya must have taken them. Now he says mysteriously disappeared. He changes it because he knows it's gonna backfire. You don't want to piss off Malaya because she has something on you that can land you in prison for a very long time. It will also lead to her never having custody of Meadow again, probably. But you know what? That's a small price to pay for the truth. Maybe not, right? I don't know. She loves Meadow. She doesn't care about Jack and Lily. But she loves her daughter Meadow. So that's the reason. But you know, you piss her off too much, point fingers at her, she's gonna talk, dude. So you're coming to your senses a little bit. Or somebody, maybe Logan, you know, came to you and said, "You need to shut the hell up, bro. What the hell do you think you're doing?" Behind the scenes, people's concern for the children's welfare had already raised red flags. A child protection supervisor in the nearby town of New Glasgow rushed to prepare a memo for Deputy Minister Craig Beaton about Jack and Lily on the day the children disappeared, according to redacted briefing notes obtained by the Globe through Freedom of Information legislation. 2 weeks later, in mid-May, another memo about the children was prepared for senior staff in the province's Child Welfare Department. Opportunities and Social Development Minister Scott Armstrong, who also told the Globe he asked for more information about his department's interaction with the children, has so far declined to discuss how the government responded to concerns about Jack and Lily's well-being prior to the disappearance. Yeah, man. I mean, the CPS thing, you can't expect, I mean, look at the Sebastian Rogers case, man. And I'm not surprised that they ignore certain things and then it doesn't get any better. In cases like this, it doesn't get better. When abuse is proven, you need to remove the children right then and there. That's why they don't want to, of course, they don't want to, you know, be examined in terms of what they didn't do. What is known about Jack and Lily's interaction with child welfare authorities is that the social worker came to the trailer over concerns raised by the school several months before their disappearance to assess their home life. Teachers and other professionals who work with children have a legal duty to report if they have reasonable grounds to suspect a child may have, is, or is about to suffer abuse. And home visits occur when there's reason to be concerned about a child's safety and care. Daniel, however, told the Globe the visit was related to the kids' learning difficulties at school. Right. He said the children were suspected of having autism and were scheduled to see a doctor the same month they vanished. They didn't have autism. They were very outgoing. He declined to answer further questions about the involvement of child protection staff in the kids' lives. Avoidance, that's where it's at. Jack and Lily attended Salt Spring Elementary, about a 20-minute. It must have been nice for them to go to school. I bet you they loved school. Of course, they didn't feel good about themselves not being, prepared for school and not having nobody helped them with homework. But that was, I bet, their safe zone here. About a 20-minute bus ride from their home in Lansdowne, a child protection social worker contacted through the school, paid a visit to the mobile home in the months before the disappearance. Got it. From the outside, there were signs the children's home life was strained. They were developmentally behind other children and arrived at school grubby and without appropriate winter clothing, prompting staff to provide it for them. Oh my God. These people didn't give a crap about them. Malaya also needs to be arrested, in my opinion. And I like what Wade said, lock them all up and see who talks first. It's the way to do it. Prompting staff to provide it for them, according to a school board employee with direct knowledge. This is a great article, guys. The Globe is not identifying the source because they are not authorized to disclose details about students. Yep, but that's reliable. Last December, Jack came to school with a black eye, according to a photo of him posted by his elementary school. The photo of the class trip on December 13, 2024, 5 months before he and his sister disappeared, shows him sitting next to other students in the forest with a green and purple bruise below his left eye. I will show you this more in a second. Another photo shows a possible black eye and bruising on Jack's face in a photo taken in September 2024, an injury that Daniel defended on social media, saying it was caused by Lily. A 6-year-old is gonna suck you in the eye so hard, Jesus Christ, man. No, don't use his name in vain. I mean, whatever. Daniel did not respond to questions asking how Jack received the black eye in December. Oh, but all of a sudden, what? Now that Lily is gone, Lily told you she did it, or what? Back then you didn't know, you just avoided it? Daniel did not respond to questions asking how Jack received the black eye in December, but in private Facebook messages that were shared with the Globe, he acknowledged Jack had many black eyes, because there was constant abuse. You idiot, you just told us. It was ongoing. It was constant abuse. One time Lily punched him in the face, he wrote. Oh, so he had so many black eyes, and Lily punched him one time in the face. Maybe she hit him. I wouldn't say punch. Children sometimes fight, but that's not how he got a black eye. And even if that black eye came from her, then what about the many others? Daniel, you say so. You are your worst enemy, man. That's why people have lawyers. That's why lawyers tell people, just shut up. Even if you think you're very smart and can talk your way out of things, you need to shut the hell up. But he knows better. He's not listening to anyone. Now he is, because he realizes it. He learns the hard way. He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing from an incident with the Tonka truck that occurred. And Daniel, you may have gotten away with it if you didn't talk so much. This is why we do statement analysis, because they always tell when they talk. The only way to control your language is by being silent. That's the only way. You will always leak something. He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing from an incident with the Tonka truck that occurred on May 1, the day before the children disappeared. The Tonka truck sucked. It's amazing, right? The Tonka truck sucked her in the face, in the eye. Always in the eye. The many black eyes for him. And then Lily had a black eye. I never had a black eye in my life. Never. Not as a child either. And I hurt myself a lot. Bones broken and stitches on my nose and all kind of stuff, but I never had a black eye. So coincidentally, these kids keep getting black eyes. He also said Lily had a black eye when the children went missing from an incident with a Tonka truck that occurred on May 1, a day before the children. So it started escalating. As I said, with the CPS thing, man, the moment, man, if they don't take action, it doesn't get better. It gets worse and worse. That was a day before. Daniel was hitting the breaking point. He was getting to the point where he no longer held back and he just beat them, senseless. She pushed down on the truck and it swung up and hit her face. Okay, sure. You were there? You described this really well. She pushed down on a truck. Did you push down on her? And did you swing up and hit her in the face? I think you just told us what you did to her. A family was under pressure. A confluence of financial woes left the couple turning to relatives for help. They got money from the government, plenty of it, especially for these two kids. There he is, 4-year-old little boy. Doesn't even know what the problem is. Look at this. Right here. Swollen. And here. Discolored. Lily and her small hands. You saying she sucked? This is a grown and adult. Look at the area. This looks like this part of Daniel's hand. This right here. I think this is what landed in his face. So he didn't necessarily use his fist and sucked him Mike Tyson style, but I think just with his bare hand, he just slapped the crap out of these kids. And this area is exactly what did it. This is fitting right there. You see that? Horrifying. Horrifying, people. Horrifying. Oh my God. Oh, the family was under pressure. A confluence of financial woes left the couple turning to relatives for help. They got all that money. You see, they got money for these two children. They didn't clothe them properly. They didn't nourish them properly. They didn't spend that money on them, except, the bare minimum. And they were broke. They spent all the government's money after a couple days, and then she stole from her grandmother $8,000. And grandma kept forgiving her, and that's why I'm saying, man, that's why enabling is not a good thing, and it's easier said than done, because what's money if your children aren't happy, right? But giving her that money actually enabled Daniel in the end. She should have cut him off, man. Said, what the hell is wrong with you what you spending all that money on? I'm not gonna give you more. If you want food, come eat here. You can stay with me. Bring the kids here. Stay with me. I will feed you. I will take care of you. I'll make sure. But don't just give, it sounds easy, right? Answer-wise. And I know it's not. I understand that, but this is why enabling is not a good thing, guys. And in the end, that benefited Daniel, who had constant cash flow despite of his hobbies, so-called. Okay, like many lower tier workers at the mill, Daniel had been cut back to one shift a week during the spring thaw. because of an annual ban of heavy logging trucks on soggy local roads. His car off the road because it needed repairs he couldn't afford, wasn't drivable. Really? Wait, what kind of car was it? Was it a 5 speed? What's wrong with it? And he had to rely on his uncle, who also worked at the mill, to take him to work. On Malaya, okay, whose maternal grandmother had recently helped her buy a white Nissan SUV. Yeah, she ripped her off for 8,000. 2 days after she spent a couple days after she spent the money from the government, almost $3,000, right? She forgot, and then she buys her a car. Daniel's father Earl said he bought the couple groceries and gas and provided firewood to heat their home. Daniel, however, denied having money problems and had claimed to friends that he was getting into investing and turning his life around after a divorce. He's the type that always gets into something. He always has a story. He always has, oh, I'm fixing to do something. I'm getting ready to, and never does it. You know, the Daniel you first met. This is the real Daniel. He's good with words. He loves to talk. But action, Other means of cash flow had also been cut off. In recent months, child support payments from Jack and Lily's biological father had stopped after he lost his job. Malaya's monthly Canada child benefits check or baby bonus, which under federal guidelines would be about $1,900 a month, was halted because Daniel hadn't filed his taxes, which were due by April 30. You mean of this year? Or the year before? Chaotic Daniel, dude. This is Daniel Martel. Yapping, but oh my god, dude. The struggles didn't end there. The struggles with Daniel will never end. People like him, it never stops. Never. Malaya described Daniel as controlling and said she wanted out, writing in a message to Belinda on June 15th that I never wanted to stay there. Who would? Belinda wrote back saying she visited Malaya. She wished Malaya would have reached out. We would have done what we could to help. Yeah, now you know, but I know, Malaya responded. My mom is saying the same thing. Cindy, Malaya's mother, declined to be interviewed. After the children's disappearance, Malaya also confided in her paternal grandmother, Connie Brooks, a member of a member of First Nation. She described how Daniel would hold her down and take her phone. He was having her, I don't know what you call it, scared. She couldn't go anywhere, do anything, Connie said. That's what she told me, and that's what I told the detectives. Yeah, Malaya doesn't talk to police. She avoids them, but when she asked her granddaughter about drug use in the home, she said Malaya told her that Daniel concealed a drug addiction for nearly the first year of their relationship. So it was a lot longer. He was using it, he was hiding it. He was always using it. Always. Maybe less at certain times, but it was a constant once, my goodness, man. He couldn't even with all the people there and people on his property, and people searching, the search teams, everything, everybody searching for the kids. He's still, using there in the bathroom. Daniel did not respond to questions about these allegations, but he has insisted in interviews with the Globe that he's never struggled with rugs and does not have a rug problem. Okay, despite that he has admitted to taking Beth methamphetamines, and pretty much everything. Yeah, I believe that. I believe you don't say no to anything. He said he recently started attending Narcotics Anonymous 3 times a week. Really? And is taking online courses in anger management. Online courses. Wow, that was effective. Depression. Okay, yeah, now he's a victim. Parenting. That worked. Child protection. That worked. Substance abuse, suicide, and violent behavior that are recognized by child protection officials. I have to clear my name for CPS, he said. It's best to do that. Clear my name. That's what it is. Not change my ways. Clear my name. So all of this is a game to him. All of this was a game to him, anyways. So this is, let me make sure, Connie Brooks from First Nation at home with son Henry Brooks. So that's the father. Jack and Lily's mother told her Daniel would sometimes restrain her and take her phone. She told police about this. Wait a minute, one moment. Connie Brooks at home with her son. So this is the grandmother of Malayas. And this is the father, Henry Brooks. So she said that Malaya told her Daniel would sometimes restrain her and take her phone. She told police about this. That's her, the grandmother. She didn't want to leave the property, even when Cindy kicked everybody off. Who always gave money to her, which I believe benefited Daniel the most. I don't know if Malaya was using or not, but if she was, it was. I doubt it was. You know, he, you know, you know what I mean. And I don't think she was using, but I don't know if she did. It was nowhere near what Daniel was using. That's for sure. But she is the enabler, and Malaya was Daniel's enabler. He is like a virus who lost his host. That's why he is struggling now. Without answers, theories abound. For some, maybe they're a way to hold out hope or to shift attention elsewhere. There are those who believe the children are still alive, taken or hidden somewhere. No, BS. One such rumor circulating in social media group chats is that Lily and Jack were taken by one of Malaya's relatives and are being held on reserve. BS. The rumor prompted Chief Michelle Glasgow to respond to social media. The whole dialogue was made up by a racist fool, and anyone entertaining it is a racist fool. It's not about, She wrote in a text message that she posted to Facebook on July 10th. No comment. She was very nasty with Belinda, so I already have my mind a little bit made up about this woman. No compassion for the grandmother of two missing children who simply contacted her to eliminate Durwood's fabrication that he concocted with Daniel Martel in order to shift blame away from himself. There was nothing racist about Belinda contacting her and saying, you know what, I want to know, just to eliminate it. And she told me also that was, she didn't believe a story, but you know what? When all you have to go by is somebody's fabrication, and again, that was a cruel joke that Durwood played on everybody. That's why I didn't mention his name until recently. Didn't even want to put his name in my mouth. That's the disrespect I'm talking about. Not just what happened to Jack and Lily, but how they are, making a mockery out of it. That's why I never dignified any of his comments from the very beginning. Even though I'm a statement analyst and know this, had I been in her position, I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have called and said, listen, there's a rumor floating around. I don't believe it, but I just need to call you. I just need to call you to eliminate this, because What do I have to go by right now? The silence is killing me. The not knowing is killing me. And I would ask the same thing. Could there be anything to it? Could there be? Right? Not is there. Not accusing her of hiding the kids, but saying, do you think it could be possible? That's it. And you say no. So she sure said no, but I will contact our whatever our tribes police force, or if they have one, and just maybe check a couple of things to make sure, you know. But that's not what she's doing. She's grandstanding and using that to her advantage to make big statements and try to shame the mother or the grandmother of two missing children. The vacuum of information about the missing kids has stoked a voracious demand for clues and conjecture on social media and in the online true crime community. We are not a community, man. Everybody's doing their own thing, right? Kind of. One of the most popular online sources in the true crime amateur community is, where some of us are professionals, some are amateurs, is It's a Criming Shame, a Vancouver-based YouTube channel which has morphed into exclusively discussing the case. Its live streams about Jack and Lily have been viewed 500,000 times. For several hours, multiple times a week, host Sunny Hostin invites guests on the show to discuss the case and rants provocatively, calling out those who she disbelieves. In the case of Jack and Lily, Daniel frequently pops up in her live chats. Like a whack-a-mole, she said. Whack-a-doodle. Belinda has also called in as a guest. Most recently, she presented text messages with Malaya, who, when reached by phone, refused to verify whether the text messages were hers. They were hers. Malaya has also repeatedly declined to be interviewed by the Globe, saying police advised her not to. Yeah, right. Avoidance. She said she had put her faith 100% in the authorities to find Lily and Jack. On the ground, the high-profile case has also conjured up other drama. Recently, a local online content creator arrived at the home of Malaya's mother, Cindy, that was Tint, under the auspices of buying a horse trailer. The man surreptitiously recorded a 45-minute interaction with her partner Wade Paris, discussing the missing children and posted the video online. In interviews with the Globe, Daniel has said he had nothing to do with the children's disappearance, and he said he has passed the polygraph test with police to prove it. Sure. He lamented, God, how much more is there? Oh boy. Okay, I'll get through it. Hopefully there's something good. He lamented the stigma the case carries over into his everyday life. Me. He's on stress leave from the mill. People stare or give him dirty looks whenever he goes out in public. Recently, at a used car dealership, he said a salesman snatched a vehicle key from his hand and walked away when he realized he was talking to Lily and Jack's stepfather. His Facebook is filled with direct messages from strangers calling him a child unaliver. Where are the bodies? He said. They ask every day. But then a Facebook profile that the Globe has previously communicated with Daniel on also appears in social media chat groups frequently. Yes, I've covered that. Offering up riddles and conjecture that the children were taken by someone they know and are being held prisoner. Yeah, right. As long as I remain the target, the sick person or persons that have the kids may relax and make a mistake. RCMP better capitalize on that. Ooh, they better do that. That tells me they pay no attention to this crap. No attention. None. They better. What are you? Their supervisor? You better capitalize on that. Oh, was it not him? The user wrote this week. Is that him? Who cares? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it says Daniel offers up riddles and conjecture that the children. Yeah. So they're mentioning him as a Facebook user. You know, his Madame Janie has said she also believes the children are still alive. Of course, they want us to believe that because she says she they have never gone into the woods by themselves or wandered off. A self-described hermit, it took her more than 2 months to speak publicly, doing an interview for CBC, and realizing and releasing voice memos in the public social media chat. She said she heard the children playing in the backyard from inside her camper on the morning they disappeared, and she too believes someone took them. In Malaya's Mi'kmaq community of the word I cannot pronounce, her father Henry Brooks is hopeful his grandchildren will be found. Yeah, Henry Brooks, he's the guy who said, the father who said, I'm a tracker baby, so maybe he has hope. He doesn't, know what happened. Malaya didn't tell him. Possible. He says the last time he spoke with the children, Jack told him he loved him. Yeah, and Wade doesn't know anything. So Malaya, I think, is quite out of family too with what she knows. It's weighing heavy on me, he said, really heavy. That doesn't mean that they don't suspect, right? And Wade is the one who expressed the suspicion that I think the whole family has. But Hope, yeah, he's not like Belinda. He's living on hope. At her home in Middle Muscogee, Belinda spends her days alternately tending her sprawling back garden and advocating for her missing grandchildren. She appears on YouTube live streams and in social media chats, picking up breadcrumbs along the way that she hopes will lead to Jack and Lily. Wow. And of course, that's what is that analogy? Hansel and Gretel, right? Leaving breadcrumbs that the birds ate. So, yeah, that's where it came from. In her blue and white kitchen, where Jack once crawled across the laminate floor and Lily hammered it up in her gardening hats and old eyeglasses, she is resigned to a grim reality. I think somebody there must know what happened, she said about the mobile home in Lansdowne. They all know. I don't believe my grandchildren are alive, but to not get answers, it's like, no, no, there's answers out there. Two kids don't just disappear in the morning and nobody knows nothing. So if they don't find answers outside at home, then the answers are inside at home, up to 100% Ludley. In hindsight, she says she wished she would have pushed harder to see the kids, to see Lily on her birthday in March. And she sent money to them for birthday. That's when Malaya told her, yeah, I'm planning to see you soon again with the kids, but I think Malaya was leading her on just to get some extra money that she was sending for the kids for the birthday and so on. Malaya always needs money. Malaya needs money. When she heard about the fundraiser, the first thing she thought is, I want to get this damn money. Money, money, money. That's what breaks her silence. Not Jack and Lily, but money. Looking at photos of the children from the past 2 years, she noticed they looked thin, possibly malnourished, with dry, cracked lips. Something she says she might have picked up on had she seen them in person, and that's exactly why they didn't want to bring these kids around. And more than anything, people, she is a loving grandmother, and how chapped Lily's lips. I look at the picture of Lily's chapped lips right now. Thank you, Julia. Appreciate it. Let me share it with you guys right now because I want to make sure I get better at that in my presentation. And so you don't have to go from channel to channel and look things up yourself. I'll do this. Can you see this right here? This is Lily. Yep, very much so. Thank you, Julia. Beautiful kids. Wow. And Logan compared them to animals. Almost finished, guys. Lily would have told Belinda everything that went on in the house, and they knew that. She knew that Belinda would have not let them go back home. My goodness. In hindsight, she says she wishes she would have pushed harder to see the kids, to see Lily on her birthday in March. Looking at photos of the children from the past 2 years, she noticed they looked thin, possibly malnourished with dry, cracked lips. Yes, something she says she might have picked up on had she seen them in person. And it makes her wonder about the other adults in their lives. She recently learned others had concerns about the children's safety in their home. She also wants to know what child. That's why Daniel kept saying she felt safest with him. She also wants to know, because she had no reason to, she also wants to know what child protection social workers knew prior to Jack and Lily's disappearance. Yeah, they're going to be reluctant to release anything because they don't want to be held reliable, and I don't know if there can be lawsuits or whatever, but I think in cases like this, I do believe in lawsuits, in suing the CPS, or if you can do that there in Canada, because that needs to, a message needs to be sent that you cannot over. What's the purpose of having CPS if you know if they're not properly funded and properly trained and don't. I mean, come on, just because they have so many cases and well, it's not my area of expertise, but you know what I'm trying to say. I hope Belinda gets. She should sue them. And wow. And it makes her wonder about the other adults in life. She recently learned others had concerns. Okay. She also wants to know what child protection, okay, whether they suspected the children were abused and what was being done about it. I hate to say it, but every one of us failed them, Belinda said. We all failed these kids. Yeah. And you see, when you hear this open language from her, Seth Rogers also said, I failed him. The guilty ones, they will not admit to failing the kids. The guilty ones, like Daniel Martell, will talk about, I did everything for them. Same with Chris Proudfoot. You know what I did for him? I treated him like my son. I did all this for da 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 da. They're bragging about what they did for them. People like Belinda and Seth Rogers, they can only think about what they didn't do, what they missed. And they can't get over that. So they would not talk about how much they did for them. Somebody who tries to prove something, his innocence, will do that. So now remember who this is all about, people. Remember what was done to them. Remember yourself when you were 4. I can remember when I was 4. I think I can remember until the first memory in my life is from when I was 2.5. And imagine yourself being in this trailer, this crap hole, with a mother who doesn't care, a stepfather who uses this part of the hand, and that's why Lily was so protective of this little boy. And a step grandmother who hated you.